Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Physiology of Endurance Running podcast. I'm Dan Nash, joined as ever by the main man of the series, Owain Zarelli. How are you doing, Owain?
Yeah, not bad this week. Yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. Bit sore after my first cross country race in a year. First and last of the year at the Welsh Cross Country Championships, but good fun. It was basically a road race at Pembrey anyway. So yeah, dry as in my Night Dragonfly spikes, which were white at the start and white at the end. So yeah, tells you all you need to know.
It's a sign it's not proper cross country if you wear white spikes.
Why I did it is why I did it. But yeah, doing all right. So before we get into your week, let's give our podcast sponsor a shout out. So our podcast series for the next couple of months is sponsored by Soar Running, the top end running apparel, really nice, high quality stuff. Go check them out. We've been stress testing all their kit in the stormy weather. So some very nice leggings, very nice jacket, base layer, all that stuff. Highly recommend. Gloves. I've donated the gloves to Jemima because I already had a nice pair of gloves, and she gives them a 10 out of 10. I would go check them out. Really nice stuff.
Yeah. We'll get to it, but I got 6 gels in the marathon half tights on Sunday and no issues, like no bounce at all. So
yeah, 90 gram precision hydration gels, is it?
No, sorry, 40 30 grams. Yes. how much carbohydrate am I taking with 90 grams? No, 6 40 gram 40 gram gels. So yeah,
but that's racing a marathon.
Well.
You don't need to take more than that, do you?
Yeah.
Nice. So let's get into your week, shall we? Week beginning 20th of Jan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and this would be 5 weeks. Yeah, 5 weeks to go.
5 weeks to go.
Getting close.
And if you've completely missed any other episodes of this series, we're preparing for a 40-mile track race. Yeah, a 40-mile track race, 161 laps, right?
Yeah, I hope it's 161.
161 laps around Barbados track.
Barbados.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we won't ask about his psychology, but
we'll get to that.
We'll assume it's not quite right, so I'd be signing up for that. But yeah. So let's get into the week then, shall we?
Yeah. Monday morning, as always, hour easy. 4:35. So I was feeling not bad. Like I'd come off. So I'd done a fell race on the Sunday, so I hadn't done a long run, but I'd done a fell race. And I had to say I had to fit this in at 7:59.
Well, apparently that is an early morning run, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, according to our poll.
Well, I didn't see the final results of that. What was it? They were in your favour, weren't they?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, we must have loads of people that run in the afternoon listening.
Yeah.
So
is it pre 9 a.m.? Pre 9 a.m. is an early morning run, isn't it? Apparently.
Yeah.
Which is absolute. Bollocks, but yeah. Anyway.
So I think I discussed last week that I thought about doing my long run on the Monday, because I think that's the most important run at the moment is my long run. But I didn't really have any time. I was going to get my second Hep B vaccine just start at 10 o'clock. And I thought I really don't want to get up early and do a long run and then turn up to this vaccine wrecked. And last time I went to get the vaccine done, when I had the first one done, it was like an hour and a half delay. So I was like, I don't want to be sitting in a waiting room for an hour and a half post long run to get a vaccine and then to feel potentially rubbish in the afternoon. So yeah, just did an hour easy, just didn't bother with the long run.
To be honest, like I'm always in two minds about a long run after a race. So it depends how you respond to it, isn't it? Sometimes you can be battered after a race and sometimes you can be actually not too bad. Yeah. But in general, I wouldn't do a super long. If I've raced on a Saturday, I wouldn't do a super long or super hard run on the Sunday.
Yeah, it would just be easy.
I'd probably normally cut it down a bit to what I was normally doing, because otherwise you are just putting stress on stress, aren't you?
Yeah. I wouldn't ever be pushing the mileage of that long run. Like it would, at most, it would be sort of like an hour 50. But yeah, I mean, I had this discussion in the comments of someone else's run that day just about DOMs, because it was a fell race the day before and I basically didn't have any, which I sort of attributed to having done a fell race the week before that as well, and then just doing just running on hills every day, you just I think we've said it a few times, like you constantly get that eccentric loading.
And you've
then it
raced quite a
means,
few fell races over the
yeah,
last, few months, haven't you? I'm sure. I'm not sure if it's a paper I read or if it's, I'm quoting David Roach, but I'm sure there was a paper about actually how long the protective effects of eccentric loading last. And it's quite long, like 2 or 3 weeks. So if you're going like 3 weeks between a fell race, when you get in that eccentric loading stimulus. On the subject of DOMs, like, I wonder if doing all this fell racing will be protective, like in the back end of Barry 40, like the last 10 miles, because you haven't done any long runs up to anywhere near 40 miles. I don't think you've got any intention of doing that. So is the extra load of running downhill is going to be protective against like that damage, or do you think it's going to be? I think it would be. I don't know. We'll find out.
I mean, it's impossible to measure, isn't it?
I mean, it's not impossible to measure, but it'd be difficult to measure.
Yeah. I think it probably helps as much, like, with just the week as well, in terms of, like, I'm never that beaten up after a session or a fell race. So it just means you can keep kind of tracking along. Whereas if you didn't do any hills at all and then did a fell race, like, you would be wiped out. I think even across country, to be honest. I mean, maybe not Pembrey, but like, across country would potentially, like, really mess up your legs for a few days. And at best it just interrupts your training, but that's, potentially an injury sort of waiting to happen.
Yeah, if I was to do a fell race next weekend, I'd be more sore than after a marathon, and I'm very confident of that.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think it helps, and I mean, it's as much, like, enjoying the training. Like, I would lose my mind if I was just running down to Butte Park and running around it every day.
Yeah. But I do think I think a lot of the best ultra runners, even if they're racing flatter events, are training in the mountains and training in the hills. But you can't, this is 40 miles, and you could in theory go out and do a 40-mile run. I don't think I don't think there's much benefit to doing that, but you could do a 25, 26, 30-mile run. But if you're training for like 100k or 100 miles, you can't go out. I don't think even the best they're not doing stupid long runs. They're not going out and doing 50k long runs. Maybe they might do 1 or 2, but they're certainly not doing more than that. So maybe climbing is doing some ascending, and descending is good way to condition my legs.
I think maybe there's some different sort of muscle fiber recruitment as well. Where if you just run flat and you're running, your easy pace, then you're not going to recruit the same muscle fibers. I wanted to read into it last week, but I haven't. So it's just a sort of thinking aloud.
I'm sure there are some papers out there, but I reckon there is a mismatch between, like, the heart rate and the muscle fiber recruitment running up a hill versus running on the flat, because it's deloading the cardiovascular system and putting more load on the muscular system for a given heart rate. So I reckon heart rate zones might be slightly different if you're doing, probably not like, a couple of percent grades, but doing like 10-15% grades.
And I mean, I think
when I do my VO2 max test up the hill on Thursday.
I was about to say that, like, we talked about that last week, where my heart rate didn't get near to what it's got in other VO2 max tests, or where I've seen it at max at the end of races, but my legs were absolutely screaming. So maybe there is that mismatch. I'll try and read see if there is any sort of evidence or discussion looking at. I mean, it's hard to measure, like, muscle fiber recruitment, isn't it? It's a bit of an art attaching, what is it, IMUs to your legs, and
basically sticking needles in your nerves, just how you do it properly, isn't it? And
I remember that, like, that lecture where, like, you can stick these things to, like, your legs and look at allegedly the fiber recruitment, but you can't compare one person to the other. Like, it's you are you, and even within one measurement,
conduction rate, aren't you? And how much excitability of that neuron. I believe that's as far as my limit goes with neurophysiology. But I mean, as we said, like, so much of the research on, like, the ultra stuff is non-existent, Yeah. So yeah, even like the marathon, there's not that much really.
Yeah, hard to measure at the end, isn't it?
Yeah. So cool. Right, so we've done Monday.
Yeah, Monday. Yeah, actually felt fine after the jab as well, just like a really sore arm.
Yeah, Hep B's fine, isn't it?
Pretty funny on getting this vaccine 6 months after actually handling blood, but yeah.
Don't say.
So then Tuesday, about 10 miles. Again, nice and hilly. Ran out to Talbot Green. 200 meters of climbing.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, actually 4:15 a k. I was going, oh, that was quite a good pace when I opened the activity and saw like 200 meters of climbing. I mean, that's quite a lot. That's the grade adjusted pace on that must be quite a bit faster, surely.
Yeah, and I finished this run, and like I've said the last few episodes, I just have heart rate on my watch, and I knew I was moving all right, and I finished it, and I was like, okay, like that's good. Yeah, you don't want to necessarily read too much into one run, but just knowing that's a tough sort of like road. A few people will have run like up or down Llantrisant Road, like it's always up or down, and it's sort of one way. If you start running along there and you're not feeling great, like it really really like bites, and it didn't. So I already sort of knew that, and then like thinking, oh, probably rounding into not bad shape. Probably jinx it now. But yeah, no, nice hilly sort of steady hour 10 minutes, which is sort of the aim for Tuesday. And then we got to Wednesday, so wanted to do a session again, sort of get back to the normal big Wednesday session. And I'm trying to think where, just in my head I thought, well, let's do sort of these longer sort of blocks of like just above LT1, and then I'll try run a bit faster at the end. And I thought, well, what's a good way to run a bit faster at the end? And then I think I must have listened to Inside Running podcast and they mentioned monofartlek, and I was like, oh, why not just chuck that on the end?
Yeah, I thought that must be Inside Running podcast influenced.
I think it was.
You love the Australian running scene, don't you? You're very tapped into that.
You're more tapped in than the UK scene. So I guess for people that don't know what monofartlek is, it's made by Steve Monaghetti, who's a really good marathon runner from Australia. It's exactly the same on and off time. So it's 2 by 90 seconds, 4 by a minute, 4 by 30 seconds, 4 by 15. So you have the same on and then off. So
9 seconds
on, 90 off. Yeah. And it adds up to exactly 20 minutes. And it is quite a nice session because you can you can either really really go for it on the ons and then basically be like walk jogging the offs, or you can keep it more controlled and float the offs. It sort of gives you the scope to run it how you want. So I sort of thought at the end of a longer session that might be interesting to do. So I did 4 miles, 3 miles, 2 miles, and then the monofartlek. The bigger mile, or the 4, 3, and 2 mile blocks were, I think the first one, I've gone on Strava so I can't see it. I think the first one averaged like 166 heart rate, and then 168, and then 170 maybe.
It looks about right from Strava.
And
going at like 350 a k, is it 340 a k, 330 highs, something like that, is it?
Yeah.
We should be quoting a mile, shouldn't we? But about my Strava's in k's here. So
yeah, same. I think they all fit, like, I mean, the end of the sort of 2 mile rep felt a bit tough, but as much a case of like not being able to push my heart rate up. Like I sort of had my heart rate limit alert set to like 175, and I don't think it ever got close in that last one. So also, like, I mean, I didn't have loads on this day, so I left it fairly late, and running around Butte Park at sort of 10:30 was a bit chaotic. Dogs everywhere. So I think I was a bit fed up, to be honest, by the end of that. And then I had the monofartlek after.
So how is it psychologically? How is that? Because it's only 20 minutes of running, but it's a lot of reps, isn't it?
So
I guess it feels short. Did it feel short after doing the 4-3-2?
I thought it would, and then I was sort of most of the way through the first 90-second rep, and I was like, I really want this to end now.
Yeah.
And I am, like I've said before, like I've normally just have my heart rate showing on my watch, and then I did the 90-second reps, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll try sort of hit a pace, get under sort of 3:30 a k. And it felt hard to do that, but I would also say like the pacing on the Garmin was like all over the place.
I think it is around Butte Park.
Yeah,
especially if under the trees. It's not great, is it?
It takes a long time to sort of react. Yeah, basically just ended up trying to run down to the 30 seconds, trying to run everything harder. And then when you get to the 15 seconds, like you're running 15 seconds on, and then like I've got it set up on my Garmin and it's saying like, like the recovery period, and then it's not even finished that, and then it's back into the like rep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 15s are sort of kind of hard, but overall, like, yeah, nice big long session. Felt like I got some faster running at the end even though I don't think I was maybe going that much faster, but
you must have been for like 15 seconds.
Yeah. I think again, like, yeah, just trying to hit a few things. So I guess, working a bit of durability with the sort of like longer reps at the start, and then you get into the monofartlek, and you're maybe starting to again try and recruit some of those faster twitch muscle fibers, in the same way that you probably would just naturally sort of once you get past 26 miles, and you're going to be recruiting everything just to sort of finish the race,
just to keep moving.
Yeah, was my sort of thinking behind it. I mean, it would have probably been really interesting to take some like lactate samples at the end and be like sort of at the end of like all of the reps. So like, is it actually that much higher at the end of the monofartlek, or I assume it would be just because you're running hard, but then my heart rate doesn't reflect that, because in 30 seconds it can't get up. Even the 90-second reps, like my heart rate wasn't getting up, and I was trying to run sort of harder than I was before. So
yeah, heart rate really just only starts representing the actual load, I think, after like 2.5 minutes really.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not that indicative really of how hard you're actually working.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lag, and I guess it's different when recoveries are pretty steady, and but the fartlek is more continuous running. It's a bit different, but yeah.
No, good. Sort of 20k almost worth of
19.91k.
Yeah.
You should have just
kept going.
Steadied it on for another. Well, that's just one more 15-second effort.
Yeah. I don't know. I was pretty done at the end of it.
But I guess that's 20k at race pace with lots of recoveries in there, isn't it?
Yeah, and had a gel between. Had a gel after each of the sort of longer mile chunks. Which was good. I'm trying to think trying to do it in my head. It's probably like 90 grams an hour.
It's exactly maybe 90 grams an hour. So
it's not bad.
You're gonna attempt 90, or gonna try and push that on race day?
Probably push it. I mean, we'll come to it when I get to my long run. Like, I really pushed it in my long run and started to struggle with the texture. But at the same time, when you're just trying to slam like a 40-gram gel between reps, it's a bit different to being able to like sip. Yeah. So, and I think also thinking about it after this week, like I'm almost certain I'm going to use a mix of gels and bottles. So that like increases the scope to
makes it up a bit. Yeah, makes it more. Yeah, don't get taste fatigue and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I always prefer drinks to the gels. I find they're more easy to absorb, more palatable, and actually, when you're running a 40-mile race, the intensity is not super high, is it? So it's easier to drink them.
Yeah,
you're not going to start choking on them or anything like that.
Yeah. So I think I'll source some small, I don't know, like 100 ml bottles maybe. Something where I don't mind carrying it for a lap of the track.
Fruit shoot bottles or Audi equivalent. That's my go-to. Rather using London. I've used them like pretty much every marathon I've had drinks.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to spend a load of money on bottles which just get chucked.
No.
I guess it's different. You could keep them, couldn't you?
Yeah.
So you could buy some nice ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I need bottles and a table.
I can
Which
help
is
you.
weird.
I've got a table.
Might have to buy that. But yeah. So yeah,
We'd have to
already
see
starting to think.
Matt Clouse special and get the ironing board out. I think that he's or was that Josh Lund? Someone used to get an ironing board out on the Rose Inn loop and stick that on the side of a country lane and just put their bottles on that.
That's pretty smart. I mean, I have an ironing board that I probably haven't used in about 5 years, so could put it to you. That's actually not a bad idea. You would immediately know. I mean, I'm not going to lose where my drinks are on a track when there's like
Well,
20
good because
people.
I get, the height of an ironing board.
It's a bit higher, isn't it?
Than a table. But people can hand them to you though, can't they?
No, I think you have to get them yourself.
Oh, really?
I mean, I was getting them myself last time, so I don't know actually. Maybe I should check the rules.
Yeah, that you can be
check the rules.
Yeah, precious saving. Yeah,
I could get everyone else DQ'd if they do that. Yeah. So that was
that's Wednesday.
Not a bad session. Like
ended up with like 25.5k, didn't it, or something? 25.5. Yeah.
Yeah, 25.5. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, nice amount of running. Good block of sort of faster running. And I think also I try and think about what I'm doing during the week, but then also the weeks either side of it. So I knew that the week before I'd had some, faster running in terms of even just the sessions, but then a couple of races and the VO2 max test. And then I know that the week coming, I have another cross country race. So I'm going to get some more faster above threshold work. And then it's like fitting the sessions in around that as well. So I sort of knew this week, let's do a longer session with, I say, slower running, but not really at any point getting up to sort of LT2 for any meaningful amount of time. Maybe during the monofile getting there in terms of pace, but this past week was a bit more longer running and working on that sort of durability. And then this coming week where I've got a race, then with my session I'll probably also push it up to just below or at LT2. So yeah, sort of trying to hit all the bases, but doing it within a week and then across 3 or 4 weeks, I think is that's where having some sort of idea of what you're trying to target with the sessions. And then also I think some people just don't, I don't know whether they just don't think about it, but you do a race, like that's a full-on effort. You do really have to respect it, and also understand that your body doesn't know the difference between a race or a session. It's just it's stress, and it's it brings about a response, and it doesn't matter if you're doing it on the track on a Tuesday or Friday morning, or if it's Saturday afternoon at a cross country race, right? It's going to bring about the same response. So
yeah, I mean, I for me as well, a race is so much harder than any training session I do. So much harder. I'm not. It's not my hardest sessions are still quite a lot easier than a race, over whatever distance, in terms of the effort I have to put in. And I think and then when you go one more, you really push your body.
Yeah.
People are. A classic I see is people doing a race. They'll do a cross country race on the Sunday, and Tuesday evening they're back on the track because it's track Tuesdays, and you're like, what? That just doesn't make sense. You're not going to be ready. You've either not gone hard enough in a race, or you're not, or you're just going to get nothing out of that Tuesday session.
And running hard on the Tuesday as well, where you're you're literally doing the same thing you've done in the race as well. It's like, why didn't if you really must do a session, slow it down a lot.
Yeah.
And you're at least doing different things. Yeah. There's definitely you see a lot of that, don't you?
It's just, but even just having what am I trying to stress today? Is it intensity? Is it duration?
Yeah.
Or or is it some blend of the two? And think about it that way.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to start, isn't it? And then you can pick down even more, even though we said all through the Road to Valencia series, you don't just target durability or your first threshold or your second threshold. It does all sort of blend into one. But I think if you think about it like that, it does help polarize the sessions as well, or at least drag them apart a bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I raced, raced Welsh Cross on Saturday. And then I am going to try and do something on Tuesday, which is like optimistic for me recovery wise. But I'm only going to do like, well, my plan at the minute is to do like just 10-minute reps, really controlled. So probably slower than marathon pace.
Yeah.
Not like, 6 times 10 minutes or something. And that should be all right. But it wouldn't go right. I'm going to do stuff at 10K pace now because I've literally just done that stimulus on my weekend.
Yeah.
And trying to hit those sort of intensities would be like I wouldn't be able to do it, or it would just be take far too much out of me.
Yeah.
I think it's just hampering the recovery process from a race, and you're probably not going to get a great stimulus out of it. And it just what's the point?
I think that's one area where maybe some of the sort of pushes to like be able to track I don't know, recovery and like sort of general sort of metabolic and physiological state that you're in would really potentially start to help. Like you see it sort of with HRV, but it's that's fairly indirect. Like a lot of things can affect your HRV. But yeah, if you could start to show people like, yeah, you're not actually recovered from that race, like there's still some musculoskeletal fatigue or central nervous sort of stress.
Yeah. But people are just
go hit it again.
People think, I think part of it is people put too much emphasis on how much the session is giving them and not just the rest of the easy mileage. But they think the session is a really important one, so I can't miss that. I need to get that in. Whereas actually you might get a better physiological response by just doing easy for another couple of days.
Yeah.
Like normally I'd like 3 easy days minimum after a race. And I might do a fair chunk of mileage in there, but it would all be easy.
Yeah.
And even then, that first session back, I'm normally feeling a bit rubbish. So we'll see how Tuesday goes. But yeah, like after a half marathon, I would definitely just run easy for 4 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're just not going to get anything out of yourself by trying to do any intensity.
Yeah.
But anyway, we digressed a bit there, haven't we?
Wednesday. So Thursday
now.
Hour easy.
But still, it's quite a good pace again, though, isn't it? 4:12 a k.
Oh no.
Am I getting like a wrong date
Friday.
here?
4:30 a k.
4:30. There we go. I did think. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Nice. Again, nice and easy. Again, I'm not looking at my pace, but my heart rate was nice and low. I mean, I think I said it last week as well. Might be some sort of what's the word? Completely slipped my mind. Like my heart rate might just be suppressed a bit maybe after the session, but felt nice and easy. Yeah, nice and chill. And then Friday. Again, wanted to do a bit more sort of distance. This is maybe the one drawback with doing the session on the Wednesday is then I like to sort of try and fit in this sort of like hour 20 to hour 30, like what you'd call a midweek long run, even though Friday isn't necessarily middle of the week. Maybe, if I did the session on Tuesday, then I could do this Thursday or still do it on Friday, but have an extra day to recover. But yeah, so I did 20K, 4:12 a K. Again, felt nice and chill. I think we had one of the storms on that day. I think I got to the centre of Cardiff and then just like happened to see the pace on my watch and I was like, I'm running a lot sort of faster than I thought I was. And that's
nice surprise, though, isn't it? It's worse the other way around. When you think you're running quite fast and you look at it, I'm not running very fast at all.
Nice 20K on Friday. And then again Saturday morning, just an hour nice and chill. Got chased by a dog, which is a bit annoying, but Taft Trail seems to be mental at the moment for dogs. Someone in Croops was knocked over by a dog yesterday.
I'm not a dog fan, I'll be honest. I'm not a dog fan.
I'm a dog fan except when I'm running.
No, I'm never a dog fan ever, at any point. But yeah.
I mean, even today, like there was people's dogs are off lead. Like there's a there's a building, well, there's construction at like Haley Park, which is one of the parks in Cardiff, like a big like water plant. So there's like big trucks, and then there's like dogs off lead, and I'm like, but a truck could come around the corner. Like, why is your dog?
But especially for Taft Trail, which is a bike path as well.
Yeah.
It's a shared use path. You've got people running up and down. You've got kids on scooters and their bikes, and commuters going in and out of Cardiff. And you've got these dogs running around like they're, like
I
started them a dog poo as well. Like, Jesus.
This one, like I'd run past the dog, and then at the corner of my eye I see it chasing me, and like I just immediately, I'm like, oh shit, like get that fight or flight response, and like, because I'm already running, I'm like, just run faster. And then you like shout at the owner, like, can you put it on a lead? And they're like as if, and then it's as if you've said something like rude to them. It's like, I just don't want to be chased by your dog.
I know. Well, it's friendly though, don't worry, it's friendly. Yeah, but I don't want it jumping up at me and like trying to go for my ankles, to be honest. Like, I don't care if it's not going to bite me. I just don't want it doing that to me.
Gets your heart up as well. Then Sunday,
20 miles. 20 miles.
Yeah, so I knew like this was one of my opportunities to get up to or above 20 miles. Foreshadowing next week, but next week I've got a cross country race. I've got Bucks XC on the Saturday, so I sort of know I'm not going to do 20 miles next Sunday. I thought knew this was the day to get it in, and then I thought, well, let's really push the sort of carb intake as well. Like I said in the intro, the sore shorts really helped with this. Like I don't know how I would have carried this many gels if I didn't have those shorts.
You'd have to have like a pack or something.
And
a belt, and they're really annoying, aren't they? Really annoying.
And then try not to let the weather affect me too much. But we had another one of these storms, so I sort of knew it was going to get windier the later I left it. So I thought, let's run south to start with, and then when I'm coming back, I'll have a tailwind, which was kind of nice. I turned around at the bottom of this loop, and then my heart rate dropped by like 7-8 beats a minute for sort of the same effort, which is quite nice. Basically I didn't set a sort of alert for the gels, but just every 20 to 25 minutes try to take one, which I then realized at the end was a bit redundant when I took a gel sort of like 20 minutes from home. Maybe a bit of a waste of
I think that's like
money at that point.
But that's the one that's going to be hardest to take on, isn't it? So I think things in terms of like training your gut, training your GI system to have more carbohydrate absorption channels, then that probably makes sense to have it. Just done the maths, 94 grams an hour of carbs. So I've got 2 questions for you on this, Rom. So one, how does it feel knowing that was only halfway? And second question, follow-up question, you're going to have at least the same amount of gels again to match your intake. What's your thoughts on that as well? So you had what? So you had 3 Morton gels, 2 SIS. No,
1 SS.
1.
No, one OTE and 2.
1 OTE and 2 precision hydration gels.
Proper medley. Proper
nice little. Yeah. Delicious.
I worked out how much that cost this morning as well. Like, running's not cheap.
That's why you buy them in bulk and just forget about it.
Until the mice eat them in my house.
So how much was that your long run?
I think I figured out it's like at least 15 quid. So
fuel, any fuel sponsors out there, any fuel companies out there who you want to sponsor our podcast, and just get in touch.
So in terms of the distance, like, being honest, I don't think about it, and like, we joke about how many laps there are in this race, but I just don't, like, I'm just sort of the opinion that if I just don't think about it, then just don't acknowledge it, then it's not going to cause me any stress up until the race. Like, there's nothing I can think about now that's going to change the distance or the amount of laps, so I just don't think about it. Go on. I was gonna say, like, you can sort of break it down, and at least I found last year, like, the first 10 miles goes really quick. felt like it went really quick. And then you can, you're allowed to wear headphones for this race.
You're gonna wear headphones?
I will have them with me. I might put them on for a bit.
Yeah.
Just to sort of break it up. But yeah, no, you're allowed to wear any headphones, not just the sort of
bone conducting
bone conductor ones. Which is nice as well. It goes fairly quick, and yeah, like I don't know, like why let that stress me now, like thinking about it. So I just haven't really thought
I was
about
just more being provocative as well.
I know,
but the same with a marathon. Like if I'd like going into Valencia, for example, I'm not thinking I've got to run 26 miles at 5:04 a mile. That just sounds ridiculous, insane.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if I tried to go and do that in training, I would get into halfway. I'd feel horrendous. I'd be saying there's no way on earth I could do that twice. Yep. But on my day when you're rested, and you got the race day excitement, and I find the time goes quickly.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same in 50k trail races I've done or 50k road races. Actually, I don't feel like I've been out here all day. I'm ready to stop now. I mean, obviously I want to stop at the end, but it's not that's because I'm knackered. It's not because I've been out there for so long.
Yeah, like there will
especially when it's a bit different when you've never done the distance before, isn't it? But you've done 40 miles before. You haven't quite, but like
I've done it.
You have in other races.
So
but and with marathons as well, it's like, well, you just know that you'll be fine.
Yeah, and like I try and think during it, like and it's not just this distance. It's like when a cross country or a trail race is really starting to bite. Like this doesn't feel great now, but an hour's time after the race is done, first of all, you'll be annoyed at yourself if you're like, oh, that hurt a bit, like I slowed down a bit. But also, like it feels like a really long time, but then sort of time compresses like afterwards in terms of how you think about it. And you're like, God, I've been going for ages. But then actually a week later, like Barry 40 will, in your head, it's like 2 minutes sort of thing. Like it's not that long. And trying to think about that as well. I don't. Like it's it's only 4 hours sort of thing, and you can break that down. On race day as well. And like I've felt the same as well in terms of like you think back to like how fast you ran when you run like PBs, and you're like, I couldn't do that. Like how do you do that? But it just sort of, with the right motivation and sort of right psychology on the day, it clicks, doesn't it? Which I think is why we should do an episode on some of that stuff, because I think it does really affect your physiology. And I mean I was even thinking about it during this long run, like because like I got 5k in and it started raining. Unfortunately it stopped, and I was thinking, like, so I finished this run, and then Rachel's family was visiting, and I'm quite conscious of, I really don't want to sort of like I was having to fit this in and like hopefully get back before they arrived here. And I was like, first of all, I just really hate the idea of like walking in when they're here and I'm like being like really main character syndrome and be like, oh, I've just run 20 miles sort of thing. Like I don't like that anyway.
Soaking wet and
like I think like this is a hobby and like something fun, but like don't let it affect the rest of what you're doing. Like get the work done and like move on with it. I realize that's ironic, like we're on a podcast talking about it, but
in
I
know
general,
what you mean, though.
I'm not out there like filming the run sort of thing to like tell everyone. Like at the same time, I do realize we're on a podcast, I put it on Strava, but so I was sort of conscious about that, and I got like 5k and it starts raining, and I was like, do I really want to sort of like, I was thinking like if it keeps raining like it was meant to, and it's like I think it got to like sort of like 50k winds at one point on Sunday. Like it was pretty bad weather. And I just thought, do I want to keep sort of digging this like mental hole? And I'm sort of a bit conscious of that just because part of my undergraduate degree was on like resilience, and that generally a lot of people get it wrong. They think like, oh, I'm going to go out at 4 a.m. in the rain and make myself like mentally tough. And that's not how it works. And I've said like, I think again, we should do an episode on that, because I think
we should.
it's interesting. I think the sort of like concise explanation is like you can do it, but you need the sort of support structure around you to do it. And coming home to my girlfriend's parents being here is not the support structure that you need if you get soaking wet and you run for 20 miles. So I did sort of think like partway through, like, is this the right idea? Fortunately, it stopped raining for most of it. Like it was raining sort of for the last 40 minutes. But yeah, at the same time, like this was my chance to get 20 miles in, and I'll probably do it at least once more. But I sort of thought if I don't do it today, or don't do it yesterday, then we're getting to 3 weeks to go before I've run 20 miles, and that's not that I think that would necessarily make or break the race. Like I think all of the other training is important, but yeah, I just wanted to wanted to get that done. And then add in the carbs as well. It was getting hard to sort of have them towards the end. Like I was, like I said, between 20 and 25 minutes, and I if there was a bin, I would just stop there, quickly take the gel, chuck it in the bin, because I just didn't want to be carrying those gels. But yeah, I think also just slamming a 40-gram gel isn't the ideal way to take it.
I mean, because I use a 40-gram gels in Valencia, and I can be, it can take me a K to finish for gel easily.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. Yeah.
I'm definitely like, I've definitely been still taking it, and then my watch has beeped again for the for the auto lap.
Yeah.
And that is a better way of doing it.
Yeah,
definitely.
And that's more than possible during a race. It's like even if a Barry, I resort to using gels rather than like drinks or like bigger amounts of gel.
Actually, over that sort of length of time and the intensity you're running at and the conditions, it's not going to be hot, is it? If you just took drinks, if you were just doing drinks, then you'd probably overhydrate, to be honest.
Yeah.
To get enough carbs in. So the gels, mixing up makes sense.
Yeah, but like round a track, it's more than possible to take it over a kilometer or even longer. And during a road race, generally, like it's Valencia was pretty busy even where you were, but it's feasible. Whereas when you're running along the side of a road, you're dodging pedestrians and stop and take the gel sort of thing. So maybe not the ideal ingestion. I'm sure nutritionists would say don't just like smash 40 grams in one go.
It probably makes little difference, is it? But in an ideal world, you would have for the Breaking 2 projects, one of the things they did, wasn't it, was they fueled every mile.
Yeah.
I think that's probably, but maybe that's a bit extreme. But they just took instead of doing, it was 10. What would it be, 10 grams or something every mile or something? Or
10, 12 grams.
10 grams every mile instead of 40 grams every 5K or whatever.
Yeah.
Ballpark numbers.
Yeah. And they were looking at, they were wearing glucose monitors for that, weren't they? Like, I mean, how useful that is during exercise is.
Probably not
questionable,
but when I've not fueled as aggressively, so I've done, I think when I ran Newport Marathon before, I did 40 grams every 5 miles, which, I don't know what that works out as grams an hour for the race I was doing, but I was finding that I could feel like peaks and troughs in my blood glucose, because you were like you said, slamming 40 grams of carbs and then going 25 minutes plus without anything else. Probably would have been at that pace, probably like 26 and a half minutes or something between gels.
Yeah, that's quite.
By the time the mile before I got to the gel, I was feeling like I'm having a hypo here. I take the gel, and about half a mile later, I was like, oh no, I'm good now. I'm not hitting the wall. I'm just my blood sugar's just crashing.
Yeah.
So you do want it. There's a balance, isn't there, between having it too often, where it's actually just annoying. You're taking it so regularly, and taking one gel every half hour is probably not frequent enough, is it?
And I think also with the drinks, the other thing that adds in is like the mouth rinse. So there's some not bad evidence that just rinsing carbohydrates in your mouth gives you some amount of benefit, and I think that's a lot easier, even if you're struggling to take the full sort of like amount of fluids that you want, just being able to just rinse it and even just spit it out. Like,
yeah, the theory is there's
offers an advantage,
carbohydrate
doesn't it?
sensors in your mouth, aren't there?
Yeah.
And actually your brain detects that there's carbohydrate coming, and so we'll go, oh, actually we're not in crisis point here, there's more
Yeah.
fuel in its way, we can pull off, we can let go of the brake a bit and push a bit harder, even if it actually doesn't get into your system.
Yeah.
Which yeah, as you said, there's some reasonable evidence to support that, and it's not going to hurt you anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the week.
Yep.
So
it was 133k.
Yeah.
9 hours 37 minutes, 1,000 meters of climbing.
Yep. Yeah, pretty happy
good
with
week.
that. Good. I think that's just about enough climbing to hit my rule.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. It is, isn't it? What was it? 100 meters an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over 1,000 meters and under 10 hours of running. So
yeah, not a bad week. Yeah, like I said, got a race coming up this week, so the session will be a bit more intense. Probably a bit less mileage as well, but then if I can get then 2 or 3 weeks after that back up to 130, like that'll probably be feeling pretty happy. No, another week in the books.
We had a few listener questions that I might fire at you.
Go for it.
We're here.
Yeah.
So gym work. What's your gym routine look like?
Non-existent in the gym. I've been doing a bit of gardening, if that counts.
And what's your rationale behind not doing any gym work?
So I have not done it ever. Well, I've been in the gym, but like in terms of specific for running, I've not done it. So it's sort of too late to do it now. I mean, I think we sort of said this on the Valencia series, didn't we? Like, you were probably leaving it a bit late, and we started like, did we start 8 or 9 weeks out from that? 10 weeks out?
8 weeks out, yeah.
8 weeks out, like. And
I'd literally just started doing like, I should have started earlier. Yeah, definitely. On a side note, I've been very good this start of Jan, twice a week. I didn't last week because I was racing, but every week I've been in twice. I know it's only the 27th, but
starting means gone.
Yeah, but I'm still quite a few weeks out from London, and feel like this is definitely a better approach. Yeah. Do you think? But if say you had 20 weeks to go or 30 weeks to go, do you think? And you had and time wasn't an issue. Do you think you would have benefit from doing it? Do you think it would be helpful?
I think I would probably just add like 20 minutes a couple of times a week. I wouldn't necessarily go as sort of hard as some people do, like really long structured sessions. I think it probably would, like, just sort of knowing the evidence base for it. And I think for me, that's probably an important thing. I think you're probably the same, right? Like, I think we end up in the situation where if we know there's no evidence base, we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Which is maybe a blessing and a curse. Like, there's there's maybe strengths to just being like, oh yeah, this will work, and just having that placebo effect, whereas we're more likely to like question it.
I mean, time is precious, isn't it? And I'm not going to commit to something, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. And that's why I've been hesitant in the past, because there's evidence that strength training can improve. It obviously improves sprint performance, no question, and there's reasonable evidence it can affect your running economy, which is going to make you run faster over all distances effectively.
Yeah.
But it's not giving you this. You're not going to get 10% faster by going to the gym.
Yeah.
And then you go into a trap of like, well, I want to run this amount of miles per week, so actually, if that's going to eat into gym time, am I going to go? But and it's just a bit. It's the obviously running is going to help you get better at running, but it's not as in your head. It's not as, the link isn't as strong, is it? Even if there's evidence base out there.
I think also I have more scope to improve by increasing the amount of running I'm doing. Whereas like you maybe, well, not didn't, but like you're getting to the point of maxing out the running you can do. Whereas I have the scope to do a bit more if I wanted to, so that would maybe also factor in. I like to think though, I think if I would do it, but I would need sort of logistically to make it as easy as possible. So Like now I've got a garage, like even just having like a kettlebell or something
Yeah.
to just be able to, and that's maybe not quite going to be as good as, using a barbell and like doing the sort of, Olympic lifts and
But the other thing
real
is,
power
when you're
movements,
so
but
naive to it, doing anything is going to make a big
yeah,
difference, isn't it? And that's what I've found is that I'm only doing half an hour twice a week because I can schedule that into a lunch break twice a week, and that works all right. But I also don't feel like I need to do much more than that because I'm tired at the end of that. I've lifted some weights and I've been able to increase my weight, not weekly, but actually I've increased my squat by 10 kilos over 3.5 weeks or something, which is, you wouldn't be able to get that level of improvement if you're if you've been doing it for years. So it's like minimal dose, isn't it? Like what's the minimum you need to do to have a meaningful impact on your performance? Because the other thing is, if you do too much of it, it's going to take away from your running and probably increase injury risk and all that sort of stuff.
So it would, maybe in a year's time, if I'm doing Barry 40 again, like I will have added it in. It's not something I'm opposed to. It's just logistically doesn't work at the moment. And then logistically doesn't work when I started, like, or when we got to the point of the Barry, like, or when Barry falls, where there's no point adding it. Like it's not gonna help this race. So just wait to add it in.
Nice. I think one of the research areas that's missing, or research gaps, or gaps in the evidence, gaps in the literature, whatever you want to call it, is the link between strength training and fatigue resistance, durability. And I think people say this a lot. I'd say, or I've heard people suggest that it would impact your ability to just keep going after many miles of running. But I don't, as far as I'm aware, there's no research evidence that suggests that. I'm not suggest that there is. I'm not saying that it couldn't have an effect, but we can't say yes. There's no evidence to say yes or no. And I think it's that idea that if you increase your max strength, then actually, if you're working at a lower percentage of that, you're going to be able to sustain that for longer. But is that too much different to what you're doing with your felt running?
Need a trial that compares like hilly running,
strength training,
strength training, and like mostly flat running versus
up and downhill running.
Up and down,
I had another question, but I might save it for another week. We're getting to the hour point, aren't we? Nice.
I'm gonna like use this platform now. If anyone's still listening and lives in Bath and wants to run 10 miles next Tuesday, so that's the second, I don't know what it is next Tuesday. I'm going to be in Bath next Tuesday and looking to run in the morning. Drop me a message, I guess.
Before.
I'm just going to run the 4th. Yeah, that's it. Tuesday the 4th, like early doors.
So actually, what, 9 a.m. Yeah.
No, actually early, like 7 a.m. No, I thought I'd put it out there just because
So you don't get lost, is it?
I don't think you can, because you just run along is there a river or canal in Bath? I'm gonna find out when I go there.
Yeah, you'll find out. I don't know. I've never run in Bath. Never run there.
I think it's pretty nice, but
Bath's very nice. It's just don't know about the running.
Yeah, I'll report back next week. No, if anyone's in Bath and fancies a run, like drop me a message.
Yeah. Nice. There you go. Chance to run with the main character.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this podcast's based around you, isn't it?
I hope not, but yeah.
Can we record a live podcast?
A live? Oh no, God no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Pre-London Marathon, on the Saturday, is it live podcast? Invite everyone.
Or shakeout. Yeah, now you're an influencer. You can do a shakeout run.
Well, that was one of the comments, wasn't it, on your Strava?
I think
flipping
it was about
Jenny
you.
Nesbitt and oh God, he's gone. Why can't I remember what's his name? Dave, Disco Dave. Getting
the Dan Nash Jenny Nesbitt Run Club.
Yeah, it's not happening. Sorry. Okay, should we wrap this up?
We'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
See everyone next week.
See everyone next week. Thanks for listening.